First reaction there, Ray, was what?
That this was something that if it hadn't been John Gruden doing it, Al Davis would have wanted to do it.
Okay.
It was such a classic Al move in that he basically sees a great player who has fallen out with his team, and that other teams more conservative than he would say, gee, he's too much trouble, and then he would do the deal in a heartbeat. So I think historically this is a classic Raider deal. It's not a recent Raider deal, but it's a classic Raider deal.
But it worked for Al Davis in a different time in a different NFL. You know, would Al Davis so he'd make this move now, but we saw these moves didn't work out later on in Al's tenure as the owner of the Raiders.
Well, but Al wasn't looking after guys who were, considered just problems. He needed free agents to back and fill bad teams and try to teach younger players how to embrace like the rigors of football. And in each of those cases, Randy Moss, Richard Seymour, Warren Sapp, they had other ideas. And as soon as they got to Oakland and saw how dysfunctional it was, they said, nah, not for me. So I think it's different. Antonio Brown is basically playing to prove, A, that the Steelers are fools, which I don't think he needs much help doing, and 2, that he gets to be the premier wide receiver for a few more years, because I think that's the other motivation he has.
Is that, how does it work out? How does this become something great?
It becomes something great if John Gruden, the coach, doesn't get in the way. And by that, I mean John Gruden, the coach, is the old school guy. He wants them at every practice, like 15 minutes early. He wants them at all the OTAs, because that's one of the things that caused him to fall out with Khalil Mack. Yes, there was the money, but it was the fact that Mack wouldn't come to any team activities until his contract was done that I think convinced Gruden early on, I'm going to move this guy. I think if Antonio Brown comes with the full work ethic of being the best player, I think Gruden, the coach, will be okay with that. Gruden, the general manager, already loves the move because he swindled one of the Raiders' longtime arch rivals. And when I say swindled, I mean stole naked. But if Antonio Brown is at all disruptive, and I see no reason why he would be, because his disruptions in Pittsburgh were, for the most part, about the fact that he was ridiculously underpaid. As long as he can, come to grips with the fact that he's no longer ridiculously underpaid, I think it'll get along fine. Do I think it makes him a playoff team? No, they're way too far away in a lot of other areas. And he may lose interest at that point. But for the short term, I think this is going to be fine.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.